How you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing good, Mark.
Been a while.
Yep, yep.
Hello, Dennis. Haven't seen you in ages.
Yes, you lie so well.
Do I?
Right.
I've never been a good liar. Never been a good liar. But I do have a pretty good poker face. When I'm poker, I'm playing for money. I'm pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's useful if you ever play poker.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
in the opening there, mentioning areas where there is extraterrestrial contact, something that has been, there are certain truthers who are communicating the point, and I think it's true. Alana Danan is one who does it very notably, and she makes a comment that at this stage, the negative extraterrestrials have been kind of pushed out and have little or aren't able to come in on the territory. Now, I don't presume that means that there aren't any on the earth, but I think it makes a huge difference that there isn't that. So I think it's true. I think, and so I think energetically that's hugely positive for the earth. So I think there's much less trafficking and much less communications. So there's a great deal of evil that is clearly manifesting itself on the earth, and the new film Sound of Freedom is pointing to some of this evil that needs to be tackled and changed. But I think there has been significant change, and I think this direct negative extraterrestrial influence, I think it's possible that is fantastically reduced. But then clearly, that's the negative ETs that are out. I think we have a huge amount of positive extraterrestrials or galactic beings about, and I think there are neutrals allowed. And I think some of those are the kind of presences that are there. And then there's an interesting one, no doubt you've seen some video clips of it in the States, of somehow it seems some extraterrestrial craft crashed, and there's some footage of some alien being there. Goodness, I'm sure you've seen it. I saw it. I felt pity for that creature.
is that the one you showed me?
Yeah, I mean, it was black and white footage. The thing was clearly, very distressed. And it wasn't very, whether it was fear or whether it was injury, and then
I'd say both.
Yeah, so but then I also wouldn't think it impossible that being was kind of put there as or released by some dark forces on the planet to, as a, something that was being treated badly, and it was put there just to cause fear. So it's just interesting. I mean, how do you explain that? As I said, my reading of it, that thing was in distress, and I don't know that it wasn't being used. And if it was being used, clearly, it's being used by, not people with good intention or good hearts.
Right.
So
I would say that, more than likely, I wouldn't be surprised that the footage was accurate, whether or not it was recent footage or older footage. Who knows, but because we know very clearly that there's been a lot of crashes and recoveries and, from our contractors and things like that have been doing that.
yes.
For me, what I've heard what Elena Danaan said, and I do agree that, that there definitely has been a significant energy shift in that it's so easy now to manifest things positively. I've talked to a lot of friends of mine, and they feel the same. The energy, like the manifestation of things, whether you intend it or not, but well, you're always intending it, but whether you're conscious of what you intended or not, or it is so fast now. Things. It's funny, things that I don't care about too much, I find they manifest super fast. If there's a lot of fear or worry about it, I find that those things are a little bit more challenging. But I feel like that the energy is so much lighter. We know that from the Schumann resonance that's pointing out, clearly from the Schumann resonance that the energy from the sun is hitting us at a higher and higher rate. I add the fact that we're currently in a current sheet galactically. There's a galactic, so these are, in the 3D, we have the galactic current sheet, but I feel like etherically, the galactic current sheet is these healing and higher energies for the Earth to help it ascend. I mean, that's my thought on that. And all the solar energy. I mean, the sun energy is, it's really interesting. Do you know anything about LL research? The people who did the Law of One went on to do
yes.
something called
Yes.
LL research.
Okay.
Well, they did this beautiful, there was this beautiful one about the sun and about the fact that there are beings on the sun that when they make love, their love making destroys them and creates energy for the rest of the solar system. And so, my thought on that, how I actually converted that is, I don't know if you watch Suspicious Observers at all, and he talks about, of course, he's always prepping because he's worried that, we're going to have the flood again and all that stuff. I'm not going to manifest that in my head. But I mean, I know we're at the 12,500 year mark. But the really interesting thing is he's always watching these sunspots. So my interpretation is I took what LL research said and channeled. And then you see the sunspots, and sometimes they come together and they form a huge CME, and sometimes they don't. I feel that energetically is what we're seeing, because everything is multiple layers, right? So when the sunspots coalesce together and create a huge CME or solar flash or whatever that is that they make, and pardon me, but I don't have the right, scientific language. I feel that's what those beings are doing. They're combining, and then they're sending that beautiful, wonderful energy towards us or towards other planets in the solar system. So I just think, there's lots of clear scientific evidence to show that we're getting higher and higher levels of energy. Our magnetic field of Earth is decreasing and allowing that energy to come in. Of course, those who think that we're going to have a giant catastrophe are, predicting catastrophe. But for me, I can't go there because I can't go to a place that says 90% of the population is going to just disappear. I feel that if that's what you believe, then you'll be in that population that disappears. I'm going to believe, and I'm going to create, remember we talked about parallel universes? So I'm going to manifest the parallel universe that is where I live, and I live in heaven on earth along with you and Soma, your parallel universes that come along with me, because I'll drag those guys with me, and we're going to have a wonderful time going forward. That's how I'm going to manifest that.
Very good. Yeah, I like the sound of that. It's all good.
Michael, did you want to add anything to that?
Not really. I'm a person that listens to everybody, but I don't always believe everything I hear. I'm a sort of monitor. This is what
Observer.
I like to know what people are saying and how things are going on. But I tend to, if they make predictions, I tend to wait and see what happens. That's really my stance in all this.
Yeah.
I like to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I take little things, and then I process it in my own system, that's true to me. And that's what I take. I take little bits from everywhere, and then I just process it into what I feel is my truth,
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know if I was gonna be able to channel tonight or not. It looks like I will be able to.
Okay.
There's a few things I wanted to share before I kind of go into that, and I'd like to go take myself into it in a meditation with you guys, and then kind of just go deeper with it. I think that what Elena Danan said is accurate with where the alien abductions have mostly stopped or completely stopped. Yeah, I think that I mean, when she said, when I heard it, I thought, oh, actually she's right, it has stopped. And I know that for myself, I've had a couple of recent negative attacks, but I don't think, it didn't feel like it was anything. It wasn't it wasn't alien abduction or anything like that, which I've had, which I think I shared with Michael once. But yeah, I think she's right about that. And the negative attacks, I didn't really go into it, but so what happened is I went to stay with, I went to meet some people that I hadn't met before, and a lot of their ancestral stuff came up, and I felt that there was some parallel or stuff going on there to do with my family as well. So my family stuff came up, and so just a lot of stuff was going on, and it felt like different periods of time were all kind of intertwined and mingled in, not just to do with my past lives, but also the other males' past lives as well. And I did feel that we were connected in a previous past life, which I didn't share with Dennis yet, but there it is. Just because because I didn't, not for any particular reason, but and then so I had a whole load of stuff going on, and then I was physically ill on top of that, and then I had a negative energy step in, which was probably to do with an attachment to that person that may have been from previous lifetimes or lifetime where I may have known him. But it just very much felt like it was, it wasn't just to do with now, it was to do with different periods in our soul's history, in past lives and time. So then I had the attack as well, which was kind of targeting me, but also my relationship. And then I was physically ill because I was taking my diabetic tablets, and then I stopped them because I was taking them because my sugar levels were really high. They were almost at 20. So I took the tablets and then got really ill, so stopped taking the tablets and still had a high sugar level. and I've kind of managed to get back more into balance now. And then when that negative attack stopped, I think I had a space of about a week, and then another one started, or it started within a couple of days. I think I had about a week, and then another negative attack started. But I think it was a continuum, kind of a continuum of the previous one, or somehow connected. But I do have to say that since I've been in my relationship, that the negative attacks that I used to get have really stopped, like noticeably stopped. But I had a real dream. I think it was last week sometime, where I had this insect, some type of insect. In the dream, it was on my left finger, and it was to do with it putting some type of well, I'll just tell you very briefly that my brother's ex-girlfriend passed away with cancer years ago, and it was her, what did they word it? It was her, I forget what the words they used now, but it was her, they didn't use the word poison, but I can't think of the word they used, but it was her poison that was being put into me by this insect in my left finger. And when I was looking in the dream time, when I was looking at my finger, there was a little black patch on my finger where I was being, this insect,
Venom, right?
It wasn't venom. It was more like a poison or a toxin they were putting into me.
Okay.
But it was to do with my brother's ex-girlfriend, and her poison was bowel cancer. So anyway, so then when I woke up, I was telling someone about it, and then when I woke up, sorry, I was telling someone about the dream and my left finger. And then I kind of noticed it, and I called him back and I said, it's not my left hand, it's my right one, because it was there physically. So that negative attacks can sometimes, for me anyway, I remember once, I'm going to tell this very quickly and then shut up, because I want to do the channeling and the meditation. But I was about to do an interview, and I forget who it was now. It might have been Sasha or Laura or someone. And it was a couple of years ago. I was still in Portsmouth, and I had this really bad negative attack, really bad. And I was up on a ship, and we were fighting, and the person was connected to me through Facebook and was actually in one of my groups. But we had this huge battle, and I woke up, and in the dream she had done that. She had clawed me, and then when I woke up, I had all like claw marks, scratch marks, all down here. So I had to wear some type of really clothing that covered me up, because you could really see it, and it was sore. I mean, it was really deep, and I actually bite my nails. So but anyway, that's the kind of stuff that does happen. But thankfully, that's not happened for, nothing as serious that has happened for over a year. So anyway, and what else did I want to say? Yeah, the UFO landings. So the UFO landings, the Ps did say to me a while back that there would be a genuine landing and a fake landing, and probably more than one of each, and that we would have to be very discerning in knowing which was which. And if you look at the media, how they operate, I think the way to be discerning is if something is highly given a lot of attention and publicized widely on mainstream media, I think it's probably not a real landing. I think if something is shared a lot through Facebook or social media that you won't see on mainstream media. I think that is more likely to be a genuine landing. I think there's going to be more genuine landings. The one that Dennis showed me looks pretty real, and I don't think it's been on mainstream media because they don't share the truth. That's not what they're about. That's not their agenda. And the other thing I wanted to share, just quickly, years ago, I channeled a piece of information, and it's in my book, The Pleiadian Child, and I can't remember what date it was, but they've been talking about it a lot the last week, and I meant to do a post about it a few days ago, and I didn't get around to it. But this information years ago was about there would be what would appear to be two suns in the sky. And I can't remember what date it was, but it was years ago. It was like it was just years ago, maybe even 2012, 2013. I'm not sure. I'll have to check my book. But it's in my book, The Pleiadian Child. And recently there has been a lot of there's been a sighting recently of two suns in the sky. I know there was one in China quite a while ago, but there are more sightings of what appears to be two suns in the sky, and more recordings of it. And I think there's more to come with that. I think because the last week or so they've really been, highlighting that to me, that the two suns in the sky. So I think that's really interesting. That keeps coming up for me recently. Is there any?
I was just gonna say, can I comment on the two suns thing?
No.
The other day, and it was very strange because there was a cloud that came in front of the sun, and it looked like a giant Pac-Man, but it looked like it was way wider than it would have been had it just been over, but then that effect went away. But for a while, so I'm wondering if that's related. I'm just curious. Anyway.
It could be, Mark. Do you have any links? Would you send me a link?
A picture, you mean?
Yeah, a picture or a link or something.
It was just me. I saw it
Okay.
myself, but by the time I took a picture, it looked just like more of a normal sun. But I'll send it on the messenger.
Thank you.
But it looked. But by the time I took the picture, it looked kind of more normal.
Okay. But yeah, send it anyway, because it and
yeah, I'm looking for it now.
Yeah. Sometimes I do pick up information from photos, and it's normally to do with people, but I might pick up some information to do with that, maybe.
Okay.
And
yeah, let me look.
Maybe Michael and Dennis would be interested in getting it as well, to see what they pick up. I don't know if you
Yeah,
want
I'll just put it on the website, on your regular message board, if I can find it.
Okay. Unless you want to share it on the screen. I don't know if you're able to do that now.
Maybe. Let me see if I can find it first. I don't see it. Let's see. There's the picture. Yeah, I can't find it right now, but you know what? I'll send it later I'll look later.
Okay.
I'll look later and try to find it, and then I'll just put it on your message board,
Okay. Yeah, that would be great, Mark. Thank you. and
Mhm.
I'll have a look see over the next couple of days.
Okay. Hopefully I find it.
So I was going to ask, is there anything you guys want to share about anything that I've just said, or any questions or comments before I go into the meditation?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just thought it interesting. It's a different subject. I shared it with you. I just thought it interesting, a public statement that Alex Collier released. He's, just pointing out Ishmael Perez, who is someone who's showed up and speaking with galactics and sharing world history and being he's got lovely biceps and he's very popular with the ladies.
Something's making a
What?
buzz noise in there. It's buzzed twice.
Well, I can't leave.
There are some big inconsistencies with his story, and most shamefully, he manages to diss very badly and very consistently some very respected people in the truther movement, including Michael Salla, and time again finding major fault with Alana Danan. Now, I understand someone not agreeing with, another person, but he has said some shocking things about her, and I'm not going to say what they were, And so Alex Collier just blew up on the guy, said, "Who is this guy? I have no time for him," just and he says, "In our business, we don't speak badly of someone, but I've got to name a name here." And he's saying, leave it on. And the clip shows him lying about a communication he had with Alex. Alex comes back and says, hang on. That's not what happened. That's not what I said. That's not what he said. This isn't true. Anyway, I just thought it interesting. We all get to make our own evaluation. We all get to make our own judgment and decisions. But I just thought it interesting to point that out, So definitely that guy he says a whole lot of interesting things, but a big flag of caution on him.
I would like to add a little bit to that. And it's fine to have private opinions, but when you're in the spiritual field and you're speaking publicly, it is a rule that you don't do it. You don't diss other people working in the spiritual field. You can do it privately amongst ourselves, but you do not do it publicly. I think Ilana is a beautiful soul. I don't know who Ishmael is, and I'm not going to diss him on here for sure. But I don't resonate with his energy. And yeah, I'm not going to say any more about that because I'm not going to put myself into the position of dissing him either. But I don't resonate with him. There is also something else along the same lines to do with Laura and another guy called Dan, who I'm not going to mention his surname, but if you look at Laura's page, you might see it. I think she posted a post the other day and then she took it down immediately, and I did comment, and I wasn't sure if she got my comment because I think it was taken down. So so there seems to be like that is cabal, that is Illuminati, that is negative agenda working.
That example is different.
It is different.
It is different.
Right.
I want to point out how different it is. I mean,
Thank you.
someone, and Laura considers this person a colleague and a friend, and then they share a viewpoint about her, ancestor in Dwight Eisenhower, and to say how he did bad things. Well, it's just an opinion, and so whether he did them consciously, or he was under pressure, or he was lied to, these are things that aren't easily discerned. But there wasn't. I'm not presuming there was any malice. Clearly, there was an emotional response from Laura on it, But whereas this other guy has crossed. I'm saying he's crossed the line, and Alex, who knows is very respectful and has been in this business for decades, and has, I don't think, ever called out anyone, and he did it this time because the guy kept crossing lines, and we're shown an excerpt of him speaking just a week after or some days after having a conversation, and the things that he's communicating are so far from what happened or what was communicated, and it's like tut tut. But anyway, see, exactly, I don't agree with anyone totally. I'm so trusting of my own kind of soul intuition that there's no one I trust fully.
Yes.
There are people I respect,
Yeah.
and I curiously, of so many people I respect, I never find myself in total agreement with anyone. That's me personally.
Yes,
Is my water over there?
You might have put yourself on mute there, Michael. But even though
Sorry.
I mightn't find myself in total agreement with anyone, it does not stop me from having full respect for people. So I am able to have that position of having full respect for people, even though I have differences. And sometimes they're small differences,
yes,
sometimes big differences.
yes,
And I still hold a lot of respect for them.
yes, I
And
agree
Ismail
with
Perez is not one of the guys I'm
you're
holding
saying.
respect for, but yeah.
Yes, that's my view entirely. I think it's very bad to diss people publicly. I mean, you say things in private, but I'm fairly conservative in all this. I'm a follower of Carol and also Solara and Ra, but that's basically it. Oh, and Tarot by Janine, although I don't always agree with what she says. And that's it. I mean, for starters, I mean, I act as carer for my wife, and all this takes up a lot of time. I just haven't. I have to be selective because of the pressures on my time. But as you said, well, I would basically agree with what you just said.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. So I just think it's so interesting. I think as people get in touch with their own sovereignty and with their own wisdom as immortal divine beings, that as people make this path, what happens is we get more individuality, and we get more separate experience and paths. And so there is less sameness, and there is more individuality and difference. And I think the unities that we're looking to build, and the bonds that we have of love and respect, in the now and in the future, we'll be able to embrace these differences like was, and this is an idea that was incomprehensible in our past.
Yeah.
You know, to share bonds with people, you had to be in the same club, whether it was the Catholic club or the Protestant club or the Irish club or the English club. You had to be in this club, and then, you know, you have to agree with everything here, and then hate everything else. And it's like it was just a model that was in our world, you know, or you had to agree with everyone in your family or some such thing. And now, you know, I think we are building a world with stronger bonds and stronger unions. And this is quite remarkable because it is in a world which is going to have more difference, more individuality, more uniqueness, more disparity in points of view. And I think that is something beautiful. So this is where we're going, all this difference. And with that, to be able to learn to have bonds and trust and union despite that difference and respect. Yeah.
I would just like to add something to that, Dennis. What's coming to me is that we also are having more acceptance for each other. And I think as light workers, as way showers, we seem to be, whether you call us the first wave or the second wave or the third wave, whichever wave we are a wave that are at the precipice where we are creating the new earth. And I think everything that you've just said is to do with the new earth energies of accepting each other. And I think that we are we are anchoring those energies into the new earth as the first wave. I keep saying the first wave, but we could be the fourth or fifth wave. I don't know. But it's acceptance and allowance, and that's on energetically, it's on a higher vibration where we are stepping into those alignments or frequencies to do with acceptance and individuality and everything that you just said. We're stepping into that more and more and more, and I feel that that's very much to do with the new earth and the new energies that we are building, and to do with ascension, because it's all happening, and all of that is happening now. So it's already started. I mean, we wouldn't have spoken like this in the 80s or even the 90s. So I just wanted to add that.
I concur.
Yeah. You know, in the 80s, I wouldn't be listening to this bollocks.
You were a priest then, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh my God, I was in a whole different type of bollocks then. Yeah. So
A Catholic priest, no doubt.
oh my goodness.
Oh, haven't you changed?
Yes, I've traveled a bit on the path since. Yeah. Interesting.
My brother is a priest also. He also got married about 4 years ago. So, you know, he's on his own path too.
Yeah.
Wow. And is he happy?
Yes, he's happily married. You know, the church basically treated him like a pedophile. Isn't that crazy? That's just they basically sent him the same letter to disavow him like they would a pedophile. That's how insane the Catholic Church is.
But everything is inverted. I'm not surprised at all. Everything is inverted.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Trump recently, I was hearing some of the details to do with the cases and the trials and everything, and it's the negative. That's what the negative agenda does. It points its finger.
So, but that's the beauty of, I love the world today because you know, one thing Magenta Pixie said, which was really interesting, and I thought was, she said that even the truths that are coming out right now are actually not necessarily the true truths, you know, the ones that are coming out in the media. And I totally agree with it because, like, you know, there are things coming out that are, they're true, but not fully the truth. There's like layers underneath of what real, you know, there's sub layers of really what's going on behind it. And
Give
I think
us-
that
give us an example, Mark.
yeah, but the beautiful thing is it's creating all of it, even the untrue truths are awakening people up. They're awakening people up to things aren't what they saw, what they were. And I think that's the beauty of everything that's coming out, because whether or not it's the truth or not, you know, if you are actually understanding that things aren't what they seem, you'll figure it out over time, what, you know, with you, because you develop your own discernment. Like Dennis said, the more you get in tune with yourself, you develop your own internal discernment. Just like Michael said, I said, you know, you take, and then you start taking in that information. You believe what you do, and then you don't believe what you don't, and then that even changes. I mean, a year ago I believed some things, and now I don't. You know, because that even changes. And as we get more self-aware, those things change. And I think the beautiful part of it is, just like Dennis says, we are embracing the fact that everyone has the ability to see their own truth. All we need to do is just love each other, respect each other, not step on each other, and support each other, and be a community of just supporting each other. And if we do that, there's no end in sight to the joy of this world.
Yes. It's also useful to be able to recognize the bullshitters.
But I think that comes with time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And even within ourselves, you know, what you thought was BS before, or what you thought was the truth before, I mean, you know, that changes. I feel like that's already changed even in the last 2 years for myself.
Indeed. Yes.
I will say, I think it's interesting that, I mean, there's a lot of us that have been at this for years. Like Ilana's been doing it, what, 20 years? And Patricia and Laura and then suddenly someone turns up from out of nowhere, just from out of the blue. And anyway, that is a big question for me, you know. But anyway, I'm not going to say any more about that. I'm not going there. So anyway, I'm just going to shut up. And but I think there are some very high level people, and I'm actually thinking of a female at the moment that are at a very high level who are not genuine. There's actually two coming to mind, and one's actually a channeler. And she channels the Pleiadians, but and Michael looks like he knows who I'm talking about, but there are people that are at a very high level who reach millions of people who are not genuine at all, and don't come from love and light. There is a negative stuff going on there, and I'm not going to name names, but
Soma, I'm going to say this. I think that we all fall prey to people who give us this information. I mean, come on, who here, raise their hand if you never fell prey to disinformation? You know, I'll use the term, to people putting out false information. Okay, let's put it that way. We've all done that. So I think the beautiful part of the world and the beautiful part of the light is that, you know, those lower energies, people who are putting out false information, are just lower energies. And then when people bring their energy up, there is value to those lower energies to wake people up.
Indeed.
And then they'll see the truth.
Interesting.
When they see the truth, they'll go, oh, she's like not telling us the real deal. And then they'll move on. But I think there's value to those who show even false information, because when you start to wake up and you start that path doesn't stop. It never stops. Once you start going down that path, the dark thinks, you know, the lower energies think they can control it. What they don't understand is that they are really good at starting the path for all of us, because we need that rebellious Luciferian energy, if you want to call it that, to rebel against the norm, right? But then we raise above that. We go to higher energies, and then we realize that's not, you know, that's not the end all. That's just that. And that helped us get through that, and we move up. So I think there's a place for all of it. There's a place for all of it, because it all helps everyone to raise their level of awareness. It wakes them up. It gives them a shock. You know, it's kind of like shock therapy. And then when they realize, oh, this person who they trusted was actually not trustful. Now, some of them will go, oh, I'm not going to, you know, believe anything. But, you know, some of them will, but then they'll wake up too and say, well, no, I looked at the wrong person, and I need to look over here to the right person, you know.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it anyway. That's how I interpret, how I think of these things.
I think you're right, Mark, and I think that there was a point when I was in Portsmouth before I moved back over to Ireland, where I saw things in a different way. I saw how beautiful it was that the negative agenda had kick-started COVID, because I saw how we needed that to raise our consciousness. We needed that to kickstart the ascension to where we are now. And so they propelled us forward. They are actually helping us to ascend, because without those certain situations, we wouldn't have things would have taken a lot.
We needed that hard pause. I mean, everyone that was a worldwide hard pause. How could you have ever created that otherwise? And that allowed people to just think, and reassess their lives. And that is powerful for change. Powerful.
And also, look how many of us are now connected and have come out of the spiritual closet. I would never have started interviews if it hadn't have been for COVID. I wouldn't have done it. I would have.
Yeah, I mean, I met you through the round tables. Like, those were beautiful. Like, that introduced me to so many spiritual ideas and thoughts and people and beautiful people. So that women's, round table, that was just those were beautiful meetings that you guys did. And I think really helped us all, a lot of people, kind of wake up and realize, maybe I need to start thinking differently about things. It certainly made me think a lot about things in a very different way.
Yeah, I know. I think,
and it's funny, since then, I just want to say I've associated with you, and the other person I also associate with is Nina Starsong from there.
Nina. Yes.
Yeah.
Love her.
I'm part of her little Telegram group and stuff, and I've done some work with her, so she's great.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. And I remember doing an interview with her and another woman that was also had a connection to the Pleiadians, or was channeling them. And forgive me, I can't remember her name, but she also had a wonderful energy. And I did a couple of interviews with Nina and this other lady, and the energy was just, it was beautiful energy, just so connected, and such a strong Pleiadian vibration and frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina has just amazing energy, a very high vibe. And I think the round tables are really important. I think so many of us got online and started doing interviews around that time, and connecting and uniting with each other, and kind of initiated us, or kind of propelled us is a good word, to move forward and come out of the closet and start speaking about stuff more, and start interviewing people or being interviewed, and vice versa, and round tables and all of it. And I'm actually gonna the last 3 or 4 months, I would say, I've kind of been really slack or lax in what I've been doing. I guess I've needed space for myself and to work through some of my own stuff. And I feel like I'm at a space now where I'm ready for more interviews. I'm ready for more roundtables. I'm ready to reconnect again with people and with my tribe and people that I resonate with. And often I get asked, and a friend of mine asked me as well, Justin, if he's listening to this, he'll know who he is, but he asked me, how do you choose people for your interviews, or people either being interviewed or people that you get to interview? And I said, well, it's people I resonate with. That is how I choose people. If I resonate with someone and what they're saying, and I may not even agree with some of the stuff they're saying, because I'm an Aquarius and I'm that's the way I kind of operate. I don't have to agree with everything that someone says. It's more about their energy, because they could be wrong, or I could be wrong. You know, and being an Aquarian, I've got that kind of more open viewpoint. So but yeah, the roundtables are really important, and I keep encouraging Dennis to do more, because he is got some very important stuff to say.
I think we all do. I think we all do. We just need to find the avenue that works best for us to share that.
I think so, but I think with some people, and maybe Dennis is included in this, I think that they come from such a normal family that sometimes their family holds them back, and not even spoken, just unspoken, where their family has such a normal viewpoint and they're way over here, and their family may not even know about them.
Oh well, time for them to wake up.
Yeah.
Or not.
But I see, I kind of,
but I understand that.
I never had that. My family always knew I was different and weird and strange, because as a child I wouldn't shut up until Spirit said, you need to stop talking, because they'll throw away the key and they'll lock you up. So I stopped talking about it, because people started to look at me as I got older. I think I was around maybe 10 or 11. I must have been 10 when I really stopped talking about stuff, or maybe 9. So, but there are things that my family don't know about me, that they still don't know, unless they've read the book, you know. But yeah, I think sometimes our families do hold us back, and it's because we don't want to be the odd one out. We don't want to, and I just, like, I don't understand that. I mean, I do understand it, but it wasn't my path. It wasn't my path. So I'm always encouraging Dennis to, especially lately, because I think that I just think he needs to go public. That's what I think. And yeah, forgive me if I've said too much, because I do tend to, like, I'm a real truther, you know, and my viewpoint around truth is slowly changing, because I can see where my sharing my truth, or their truth, my truth in my book, has really hurt my family on a very deep level, to the point they told me to silently told me to fuck off, and did not want anything to do with me. And that is still the case with certain members of my family, because I spoke too much truth. So I'm still learning through Dennis that the truth is not always for everyone's best. It may have been for my best, because I did a huge amount of healing when I wrote that book. Because when I wrote it, I sat down and in order to write it and remember, because I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff, in order to write it, I had to go back to those memories and remember and relive it, so that I could get every word out, every emotion out, what had happened. I had a lot of blocked memories when I wrote it. So that book did not help my family. And it was very healing for me and very cathartic, but it has, even writing the book has now wounded me, because I don't have the family connection, and I'm looking to rebuild that. I'm looking to, because I love my family, and especially my brother Mark, love him dearly. I mean, there's so many times he was my protector. He was always my protector. And I really looked up to him as a father figure. And I remember him pulling the guy off me when I was 8, which was one of my first conscious memories of connecting to the Pleiadians. But I didn't remember that until I'd done the shamanic course with Paul. So anyway, I'm kind of going on there. Sorry for that. And I'm sorry if I said anything that was out of line. But I am a truther, but I'm also seeing that through, learning through Dennis, that the truth is not always the best thing. I mean, it's not. But there's still, I'm still kind of have both perspectives going on with that, because on one hand, I come from such a strong background where God knows where it came from. It must have come from spirit and my guides, because I had, like, it was instilled in me, and it certainly wasn't from my family or from my school or anywhere in my vicinity, where I grew up in equivalent to the Bronx, in Hackney. I wasn't instilled there. So, but I have this strong energy of truth and how important it is, and sometimes I even think it is bollocks, because what frequency of love does that carry if it's hurting other people, if it's hurting your family, if it's hurting your loved ones, if it's hurting the people around you, the people in your environment, and your friends and your family and your loved ones in relationship? What importance does it really have?
I guess it I would like to share my thoughts on that, because I think that I understand what you're saying. And I think, though, having, I'm gone through a divorce, because really I couldn't share myself as myself. If I talked about things that were truth to me, around to my children, around my wife, she would be like, that's, whatever. She wouldn't agree with it. And then I couldn't talk to them about that type of thing. And that created censorship of me, and I could not be myself. So I think you cannot associate with people who you cannot share your own truth as an individual. And if that means talking about things and your like basic understanding of life, if that is offensive to somebody else, which it was my understanding of my life and my viewpoint of angels and guides and other things was like almost offensive or triggering to my wife, to my ex-wife now. So I had to separate from her, because I can't stay in a relationship where I can't share who I am as a being. And I think that's the difference. It doesn't mean you go and, you don't triangulate, you don't act as someone tells you something and then you tell something to somebody else. Like, that's not necessarily good. That happened all the time in my family. We were taught that triangulation was healthy. That's the worst thing in the world. And I had to learn that the hard way. But, you know, so I think that's the other thing. If you know a truth, you know, you may have to just keep that to yourself unless there's a place where you are dealing with the person who told you the truth and you're talking about it, you know. But like triangulation where someone tells you a truth about someone else, you're not going to, you shouldn't go and tell that person that truth, you know. So that's where I think the boundary is. But when you're sharing your own truth of what your belief system is and who you are and how you see the world, and someone can't tolerate that, that's not someone you can hang out with. It just isn't, because you can't be yourself. We have to be able to be ourselves. And I think that's the difference there. You know, versus like you know, some other thing.
But what about if it's family? Oh, I think we lost Mark.
Well, my family always think that I'm quite mad, you know, and they just make fun of me. So
That's a good place
just
to begin.
leave them be.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael's
Sorry
just
about
shared with us his family thinks he's a bit mad anyway, so they kind of let him be. There's huge value in stepping into a bit of madness.
Yeah.
Huge value in it, you know. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm back.
Will I do the meditation, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Dennis,
I'd like to share something I wrote, and it
Sure.
wasn't read, and it's kind of poemy, free verse. I've written better ones, but it just came up I saw it just a short while ago. So let me see. It'll take 3 minutes maybe. So it's called "You Have No Soul." You have no soul. You are, and you have. You have many things. These are things that are yours, that you possess and own. You have clothes and shoes and gadgets. Oh, and you've at least 4 bodies. These bodies are things, wonderful things. They have parts and functions. These bodies also have density, energy, space, and mass. You have your physical body. You have your mental body with its thoughts, memories, conclusions, and beliefs and programs. You have your emotional body with its emotions and feelings, records of joys and hurts. You have your etheric body with aura, chakras, meridians, Merkaba, chi, prana, and more. A soul you do not have or possess. The soul is a no thing. The soul is spirit. The soul is the possessor. It is you, the soul, that possesses the things and bodies that you have. You do not have a soul. You are soul. You are you, the unique soul you are. The soul, spirit, is the source and creator of all energies, things, and bodies. Indeed, it is the soul, you, that creates your existence. Dear soul, you are immortal. You are the awareness. You are the loving consciousness that is now having a human experience because it is your will and nature and mission to love. And here you are, living, learning, sharing, teaching, and loving. Thank you. You have existed before creation and before galaxies and before matter. You have lived lives before this life. You will live lives after the illusion of death in this realm. You are fractal of source, unique, one with all. Higher self is a curious term. higher, hence some separation, some elevation, some distance. But no step ladder or tippy toes are needed. Your true self, soul, the I am that I am presence is nowhere or now here. You are self, always within, divineness shining. Gently.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Very nice. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was that about me?
Course.
It's about all of us.
There you are. And that's very much about Michael and Mark also. Yes. Yes.
So I'm very tempted to take a 5-minute break. I don't know if you guys are okay with that.
Sure.
Yes.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'll go and make
Yeah.
coffee and go and use the bathroom, and I don't know if you want me to play a piece of music, because I have I heard a piece of music a couple of years ago, and it was called New Earth by, oh, what is his name? I forget his name now. Oh, what is his name? It might come to
No
me.
worries.
But I do have permission to play it.
If you want. I'm gonna step out too and get some water and stuff. So
Okay. I think, because I think I might just, I won't. No? Don't bother?
No bother.
Okay.
Fine.
All
Just
right.
2 minutes. You're
Yeah.
back. You can do
Okay.
your woo-woo stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just pause the recording and then
okay.
leave this running. I'll just pause it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll see you guys in, what time is it now? 9:08.
No.
So say 10 minutes.
5 minutes. Sorry?
What did you say, Michael?
5.
Did you say 5 minutes or 10
If
minutes?
If you need 10, take 10.
Okay, 10 is good.
Take 10, okay. I'll
So
see
9 Michael's gone already. Okay.
Think about it. So I'll be like, oh. So
Ah, we're recording again.
Well, maybe in a week's time, maybe in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to write something on Ascension. So you'll have all the answers then.
Well, I look forward to that.
I'm sure it'll be all answered, and I don't even have to live anymore. So I could just go bye-bye, right? I'll have all the answers.
Yes, there is a joke in there, and you got it. But I am going to write something, and I'll share it with you. There you are. I'll share it with you too, Michael. Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. I guess we have to get serious now. Get into the right energy. Help Soma get into her channeling energy.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
back. The recording is on.
Are you there, Soma? No. Ah, yes, she is.
There you are.
Here I am. Thank you guys for waiting for me.
You're welcome.
Are we all refreshed?
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Let us begin with a meditation while we blend with this one more. Visualize yourselves connecting with us. Close your eyes if you wish. Get comfortable. Get comfortable in your body. This has some quite deep meaning for Soma or Carol. Feel safe in your bodies. There are those of you that we know that Soma doesn't, that will be watching this at a future date, who also need to hear these words. Get comfortable in your bodies. You are safe now in your body. It is okay to be in your body. You are safe. Feel our presence. Hear our words. There are also, we are speaking to people who will be listening to this in a future time, whether it's an hour, a week, or a month in advance from now, who are also channeling us. Who are doubting themselves hugely and questioning their own sanity, questioning their own minds, questioning their own awareness, their own abilities. Before we begin, before Soma goes deeper, let us do the meditation. There is much to be said for meditation because it allows you to still your mind. It allows you to open up. It allows you a freedom of a relaxing of the mind and body, a loosening of the mind, a loosening of the body, a relaxation, a opening, a stepping out of your own way, stepping out of the programming or some of the programming. It allows a loosening. It allows detachment. It allows you to observe more. It brings more peace. It brings more balance. It brings stillness. So, with your feet on the floor, with your hands where they are comfortably, and your back, as we always say, to be as comfortable as it can be. Visualize us. Those of you here listening now, including Soma, know what we look like. So visualize us. See us standing next to you or sitting next to you. Feel our energy, hear our words. We want you to blossom. We want you to shine. We want you to move forward. Let go of the old. There are so many of you that are on this planet now that some of you call Mother Earth. That are wise old souls. A while ago, we said that the 6 months would be of huge significance. And the 4th month would be of huge significance. It is in the 6th month. And we heard you speaking earlier of this. It is in the 6th month that the video you were speaking of earlier, it is in the 6th month that this was made aware of. This landing. Landings have already happened that have been faked. This is not one of them. We told her, this one, of the two suns that would appear in the sky, or what would appear to be two suns in the sky many years ago. There is a vast acceleration on your planet of time, but of everything has increased, has speeded up, is pulsating at a higher velocity, at a higher rate, at a higher speed. And there will be downfalls of financial systems crumbling. We are watching you very closely. We are assisting. As we have said many times, we cannot do this for you. This is a process that is essential for your growth, for ascension, for humankind, for mankind, for humanity needs to go through in order for the frequency to be raised on planet Earth, for your frequency to be raised. And there is much there are many of those, there are many humans or many energies or many vastly in a negative agenda wishes to curtail or stop or delay is a better word, delay ascension, to hold on for as long as it can onto its own negative life force. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. More truths are coming to light, especially through the mainstream media. And there will be pockets of these, as you've already seen, where truth does come out on mainstream media, maybe not in its entirety, but there are huge truths on in the mainstream, in the media. Protection is critical at this time, both individually and en masse. When we say en masse, we mean things that could affect you en masse. Certain weather or we don't want to, right now, in this moment, we don't want to make any what you would perceive as negative predictions. But when we say en masse, we are mostly speaking of events that contain vast amounts of water. And Soma is struggling to find a word other than destruction. We cannot emphasize enough to you how dramatically your world is changing in your lifetime, and there is so much more to come. It is a process. It is a process of ascension that you are in now. Do not fear speaking your truth. For in truth, there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. You will notice the birds behaving in a strange, irrational behavior. This will increase, not just the birds, but other animals around the planet in specific areas like Africa. We are rejoicing. The strongest of the strong are here now on your planet because you had to be. There was no place in the universe for you to be anywhere else but here, because it takes your energy, the strongest of the strong, to assist with humanity's evolution, ascension. We have spoken these words. We use this phrase, the strongest of the strong, through many of you. And not just those words. We use other words through many of you, which is why some of your channelers who channel us speak the same words. Because we are speaking through them to you. The 7th month will also be important, which is now July 2023. More and more of you will, thank you. more and more of you will need to take better care of your bodies and better care of your health. In order to balance the energies, because your bodies are changing, your energy is changing as your bodies and frequency and energy and DNA raises and increases and becomes more evolved. Your physical bodies, there will be a resistance, is a word we can use, to this change, although it is not really a resistance. It is rather a catching up, a balance being recreated, reformed, to allow you to be in a higher frequency in your bodies, in ascension, with good health. So it is a more of a catching up. And we include Soma in this. It is more of okay, I'm not going to say that. It is more of a catching up with the higher frequencies and your physical bodies, where your physical bodies need to dissolve old energies, dissolve conditions, dissolve diseases, dissolve a number of things that cannot hold this higher energy. And as you move through that dissolving of the old programming, health is huge importance for your bodies. So as you evolve into these higher frequencies, you will find that you go through health conditions and problems and diseases and situations and health conditions where it is more of a clearing. So try to step out of your mind with your health problems. Because it is a rebalancing. It is a letting go of old conditions and stepping into a newer frequency. But there may be conditions that you have, and we are not just talking of Soma, that you are in for 2, 3, or 4 months, or maybe longer, and maybe less for some of you. But when we say less for some of you, we are talking about a minority or a much fewer peoples. For the vast majority of you, you will be working through conditions that will take 2, 3, 4 months, maybe 6 or 8 months, maybe a year or 2. But these conditions are clearing. You are, and we do include Soma in this, but you are healthier than you used to be. You do have more energy than you used to have. Your diet is better than it was. You are no longer, for many of you, you are no longer on medications that you once were, which is a great improvement. You are able to somehow manage, maybe not 100%, but you are somehow able to manage your conditions much better than you were. And we are not just speaking of Soma. We are speaking of many people who do not realize they are all going through this, and that they are also all going through the same thing, where it's a rebalancing and letting go of old diseases that will not be in your future or your children's children generation. They will not exist in your grandchildren's era. They will be eradicated. Things are moving forward at a rapid pace. Your energies are changing. Your bodies are changing. We have spoken of this before many times to you. We are okay with repeating ourselves. For there are always those of you that are new to our teachings through this one. We know that you are here every month and that you are interested and committed and joyous to be here and to hear our words. We are laughing at Dennis because Soma has a saying when she doesn't want to do something. She used to have a saying when she was much younger that she would be kicking and screaming, going somewhere she didn't want to go, dragging her feet. Now would be a good time to I'm not going to say that. Now would be a good time for you to move forward and to progress is a word we will use. Progress in your love frequency. Progress in standing in your own power. Progress in your relationships. Progress in your life. Progress in your work. Progress in your writings. Progress in your teachings. Progress in your public speaking. Progress in everything you do. In every area of your life that you want to continue with and maintain, and let everything else fall away. That which does not resonate with you does not resonate with you for a reason, because you are operating at different spectrums. Thank you. Everything that resonates with you, move it forward. There is no time to wait. No time to procrastinate anymore. And we know that that is a truth. And there are other truths that would also contradict that. But where you are now, we would say move forward at a rapid space, move forward, move forward, we move forward, move forward, move forward. And we it is a blessing for us to be here with you, for you to be listening to us. It is a blessing that we get to repeat ourselves again and again and again and again through Soma, who says she doesn't have patience, but actually she does. now would be a good time for questions if you would like to ask anything.
Do they want to comment on the the energies of Florida and a lot of us being attracted to moving down there?
That is a good, that is an, let us rephrase that. That is an excellent question. It is connected to the 4th month that we spoke of and the 6th month that we spoke of, where there, and this is new information to Soma, there are underground tunnels in that region, that area, that have been secret areas beneath the surface that are used for, oh my God. Okay. That are used for the light, that are used by what you call white hats, that lay deep beneath the city, that lay deep beneath the ocean, that lay deep beneath that region where there are many talks, there are many operations, there are many activities, there are many meetings, there are many gatherings, there is much information shared, there are contracts drawn up, there are handshakes, there are meetings, there are gatherings of extremely public people. We are not going to name names. Or rather, Soma is not going to, at this time now, to publicly say the names that we are giving her or we are showing her in this channeling. But that is for, we are giving her information for a future date or a future channeling, we should say, where she will feel more comfortable, maybe, in releasing that information. But there are areas, some of, okay. There are many areas on your earth that are important, that are sacred because of their history. And that area and near that area is important. That is one of the reasons. There are other reasons to do with the sun and the weather There are also other reasons to do with technology that lays beneath the ocean, that is used in a positive way, we should say. Another reason would be that like attracts like. When you have a group of high vibe people or spiritual people gathered in one place, they will naturally attract more people, that will attract more people, that will attract more people and more people and more people and more people. And so the energy grows and gathers momentum and spreads out, sometimes like wildfire. Florida is a special place, no doubt. Also, other areas nearby that are also connected to Florida in the past, where there was a connection between the tribes, we will say, between the tribes. Or the clans or the people that once lived there. There is a connection. We want to go south of Florida. Kind of southwest. There are other reasons that Florida is important, but those we are willing to share at this time. It is of huge importance. The information of the underground gathering places in Florida used by the white hats, or the Soma is very reluctant to, we are reluctant to speak more about this now. But they are known by the highest level. This war, this spiritual war that you're in, did not begin yesterday. It began eons ago. And you are only just waking up and becoming aware of the spiritual war that began eons ago. only just becoming aware of yourselves and who you are and why you're here. And the enormity of what is really going on. You are only just beginning to wake up. Even those of you that are awake and aware and conscious and can see what is really happening, you are waking up to another level. You are what Soma sometimes calls the first wave. Though she may be inaccurate in saying you are the first wave, because you may be the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, or seventh wave. It does not really matter. That you are a wave at all is what is important. It doesn't matter whether you are first or 100th wave. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are here to wake up. You are here to assist. You are us. You are us. Why else do you think you are so accepting of us and extraterrestrials and UFOs and things that are outside of the box, things that are outside the normality? You have been born into families that are normal. To change those ancestral lineages that have been infiltrated with black magic, have been infiltrated by the negative agenda, have been infiltrated by negative ET energy. You are born into some families, you are born into families with some very negative histories. And Soma is not an exception by any means. Many of you have forgotten or do not know or are unaware of your own ancestral history and lineages, because it has been deliberately lost, deliberately books have been burned, deliberately withheld from you, or deliberately, sometimes not deliberately. We wish to rephrase that. What we mean is that let us explain it a little bit more. There are many of you that are born into very dark families. You are here to hold the light within those families. And in doing so, your light will go back through that generational lineage, through the ancestral lineage. And there was a time, very much so, there was a time when your families were infiltrated in the same way that the spiritual field is being infiltrated now. There was a time when your families were infiltrated by negative ET energy, whether it was in a sexual way or whether it did not include that. It included both. but your families were infiltrated. We have not shared this information before with Soma. This is new information to her. We have given her 2 new informations this evening. One of them was to do with the underground places in Florida that are used for positive. And this is the second information, where you starseeds, what Soma calls starseeds, you came into the families that you are born into now because they were infiltrated by negative ET energy, whether it was sexual or not, doesn't really even matter. But they were infiltrated because of the light that they contained in your family, in their family ancestry. They were which is a very similar thing to what happened at Atlantis. Many of you came from Atlantis, and many of those families were infiltrated and were infiltrated by negative ET energy. You saw this before you came here. We explained this to you before you came here, and not just us. There are others like us. Many of you are not just Pleiadian. Many of you have a mixture of our DNA. Pleiadian, Lyran, Syrian, there are many others. You are a blend, you are a mix of a beautiful blend of DNA that contains a higher frequency, which is why you don't fit in, which is why you stand out. It is also why you are born into these families, whether they are royalty or not. From royalty to paupers, all these families exist, and everything in between. Families that came from Atlantis were infiltrated by negative ET, thank you, negative ET energy. And not just families from Atlantis. You have forgotten who your families were. Many of you do have royal blood. Many of you are from Atlantis. Many of you have forgotten who your families were. Your families have been infiltrated. And you are here to change that energy, whether you are aware of it or not. Whether you are aware that your families have been infiltrated, whether you are aware just that you are different and that you are what is widely known as a black sheep born into, which is also been inverted, because black sheep are not black sheep. They are born into families that have been infiltrated. There is nothing on earth at this moment, no group, should we say, no group that has not been infiltrated at some point in the past. And that will not continue into the future. That is not where you are going. You are going into a new path, a new timeline, a new era, a new earth, a new beginning, a new dawn, a new age of Aquarius. Everything is falling away. The truth is being revealed to you on a daily basis now. The truth is being revealed to you on a daily basis now. Get your pens out. Get your books ready. Go write. Go speak. You are in an epic time. We cannot emphasize this enough. You are the strongest of the strong. You are lion energy. And it is time. It is time to speak up. It is time to stand in your truth. The energy on your planet is shifting. You would not have spoken these words. Never mind 30 years ago, or 20, or 10, even 5 years ago, you would not have spoken these words to each other. You are. Thank you. You are part of the process of the new human. Your DNA is changing. Your mothers in spirit are not who they used to be. And we are speaking of Soma. And we will call him D, M for now, because sometimes we use those initials when we wish to get the message across, but also wish to we don't wish to share everything publicly. It is not needed. That has no benefit. It has a detriment sometimes. But your mothers are not who they used to be. Your mothers have evolved. And Soma's has reincarnated. And that is a third piece of information that she hasn't had before this evening. Today's date is the 7th of the 7th, 2023, which is no coincidence. This is a great time for humanity. You are blessed to be here. You have great lion energy, as we were saying just now. Some of you here are aware of this. Pick up your pens. Pick up your microphones. Pick up your voices. Pick up those shoes. You are sovereign people. Stop hiding from your families. Stop hiding. You do not have to shout the truth where it is not wanted, but share it where it is. Stop cutting yourselves off from speaking the truth because of what someone else might think. You are born. You are here. You chose to come here. This is part of your mission. Stop procrastinating. We include Soma in this. She is no exception. You will witness things in your lifetime. All of you, here, now, will witness things in your lifetime, and many of you listening in the future will witness things in your own lifetime, will experience things that science would tell you cannot happen. And science is wrong. Trust yourselves. Put yourselves first before your families. Put yourselves first before. And Soma is hesitant to say this. Put yourselves first, thank you, before anyone else. It is only when you put your own oxygen masks on can you help others. Deal with yourselves first. Put yourselves first, and then you can help others. You cannot help others put on their oxygen masks. It is the best example we can use right now, given the time we have left in this evening. It is the best example we can use, because everyone gets this example of using your own oxygen mask first and then helping others. We would like to ask, we would like to leave this evening with Dennis's words, whether it is a meditation or guidance.
Thank you, Soma. That was quite splendid. You gave us did us a great service by sharing all of that. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
And Rob joined us a bit late, but no doubt Carol will send a recording of this, so you'll have it all. I will just share a very short prayer. I saw it shared by someone who said it was from a spiritual, ancient tribe, a brotherhood of light, that this prayer was used. And then I've seen reference that it is from the Law of One, though I haven't confirmed that yet. Anyway, it is a simple prayer, and I've shared it with the group before. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks that this is done. It is so. Thank you very much. That's all I have to add to the group.
I need a minute to thank you. I need a minute to just come back.
Grant?
I don't know if you want to hold the space, Dennis, or if
Well,
you.
what I suggest is you can turn off the recording there.
Okay.
Because
Hold on.
Yep.
Is that okay with everyone? Yep, grand.